How's it going, everybody? I'm Kevin Davies with Adrenalized Outdoor Productions. These aren't really going to be productions, they're going to be really informal videos. This is going to be the first in a series of Maryland Rut Reports, where as we get into November here, I just talk about what me and what other people that I know are seeing as far as deer activity and what's going on with the rut to help you figure out how to change your strategies. So, first off, forgive me if I'm really out of it. I had a really bad day of bow hunting today, this evening I should say, and I'm just tired and, bad stuff. I'll talk about it at the end of the video. But in any case, the Blue Crab House is closing up, the lawn business is slowing down, there's a chill in the air, it's Halloween night, and it's that time when we're seeing pre-rut activity transition into rut activity here in Maryland. So we had a front move through a couple days ago, a lot of rain and wind, and yesterday evening was like the first break in the weather. Nikki Stritzinger got out, took advantage of it, and was rewarded with a really nice deer. A nice mature buck that was chasing 3 does. She saw some other does with no bucks in tow, but this buck was chasing does. Today a buddy of mine was out and he was hunting with some family. They saw some bucks, but he told me what he saw for sure. Saw 6-point cruising. He also saw a nice mature 8 that was chasing a doe. Not right with his nose up in there, to the point where it looked like she was receptive yet. These does probably aren't receptive yet, but he was following her pretty good, chasing her all over the place. These bucks are out cruising looking for those first mature does to come into estrus. Looking for those cold snaps and good weather happening at once. And you combine that with, the right things happening in the rut, and good things are going to happen. So, I got out today, this evening. I'm sitting in a stand that is to the west. I'm sorry, it's to the east of a thicket. So a western wind is going to blow the wind out of the thicket onto the trail, and then, to my stand, which is on that trail, downwind of this thicket. Well, get in a tree, get set up, and there's a wind blowing east, there's a wind blowing from the north, it's blowing all over the place, there is no direction. So it finally gets a little bit better through the sit, and I see some activity up in the thicket, which is like on a plateau, and finally I see some movement coming up the trail from the south. Well, pull up the binoculars and I see a doe with another doe coming my way, and the lead doe is looking my direction, and so she didn't like something, turned around and went back up the hill, and I checked the wind with a crumple leaf, and of course she got a whiff of me, so I'm thinking the hunt's screwed. I go ahead and I get the wind a little bit better, and I have a deer come running in. See, it's a buck, and he kind of gets to the lane and puts his nose down, slows down a little bit, and I can see he's outside the ears. So I have a bonus buck tag in my pocket. I shot my second doe out of this stand about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I'm gonna shoot a good deer if he comes through, knowing that I have 2 tags that I can use during the rut with my bow. He comes in and I draw, knowing this deer might bolt, because he's doing all kind of crazy stuff coming in, and right here is what happened. That's a rage hypodermic broadhead that's filled with back fat and hair. So what ended up happening was he quartered to me after I had drawn and was getting ready to squeeze the trigger, and I had panic, buck fever out the wazoo, and squeezed the trigger for some stupid reason anyway and hit high. So that happened. Then I'm filming an interview and a stud comes in as I'm doing that. So catches me off guard, comes out of nowhere in this brush, zigzagging through. So I kind of flip the camera around and everything and get resituated. And as I have, you know, the glare from the camera screen in my eyes, I can't see very well, and I go to look up to see what he's doing, you know, so I can grab my bow. And he looks up at me as I look at him. Stare each other down at about 20 yards for 30 seconds, and he takes off. That was a stud of a deer, probably 24 inches wide inside, definitely the widest buck, maybe other than one other buck that I have actually seen in person. So I get down out of the tree, go check the arrow, and the arrow definitely has some fat on it, but there's some bright red blood right there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna find some first blood, and then I'm gonna like back out after I figure out which direction the blood's going, and come back in the morning. Well, I get down and I find the blood, and there's some really good blood happening. So Jeff and Greg were kind enough to come down and help me start blood trailing, and we saw enough blood to where we thought this deer is going to bleed out soon. He's pumping it out. Well, wasn't the case. Tracked a deer for like 2 miles and got into some area where we really couldn't, where we just can't go track anymore. You know, some official stuff, like where we were worried if we got in there too much we'd be on cameras and have helicopters buzzing overhead looking for us. So it probably wasn't a lethal hit. I've seen deer show back up on a camera a week later after someone's made that shot on them. Hopefully that happens and he grows up to be a nice deer. I don't know. Hopefully my spot's not too terribly busted, and when rut comes around I can start hunting it again if I get the correct wind. Terrible night for me, but I did see rutting activity. If I get anything out of it, the positive thing is that I knew it was going to be a good spot, and my suspicions were confirmed without even using a trail camera, which I don't have because all of my wild game innovation cameras have broke on me, and I just, you know, I don't have money right now to be thrown into a crappy trail camera. I wouldn't have it any other way than bow hunting tonight, though. I love bow hunting. You know, it would have been easy if it was a gun or a cross gun, but bow hunting's hard, and I just have to remind myself at the end of the day that's why I bow hunt, because it's a challenge, it's hard, and that's why, you know, we get to hunt, you know, a longer season during the rut, because it's an art form that we have to perfect. So stay tuned for more videos about the rut here. Go back and check out the video of the doe that I shot out of this stand last time. I thought the video came out pretty good. Might have rambled a little bit on the interviews. Other than that, give me some feedback and let me know how you like it. Give it a thumbs up. And if you give it a thumbs down, give me some feedback. I always want to make better videos for you guys. I strive to give you guys like the most raw, kind of uncensored, realistic hunting video. Give me feedback, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more rut reports out of Maryland. Thank you.